Welcome, everybody. My name is Betty Torres, and it is my pleasure and privilege to introduce a woman that I have known for now about 9.5 years. She has the best laugh in the entire world. I will tell you that right now when you hear her laugh. But she has the most amazing, most inspirational story. It's right at the top of most of the stories that you've heard have been very inspirational. This lady, what she has been able to overcome and her journey to her highest rank in doTERRA has been Blue Diamond. I mean, that is, that takes a lot of perseverance, a lot of daily consistency. And Jennifer has been at the top of, so many of the lists of, winning trips and, different contests. She's really an example for all of us and for her team. And I am so excited that she's going to be sharing her story with us today. So Jennifer, welcome.
Thank you, Betty, for giving me this opportunity to come on here and share with you guys. I hope my story speaks to someone out there. So I'm going to give you a little bit of history here. I used to work for the state of Alaska. I worked as a caseworker to interview families that needed food stamps, needed cash assistance, Medicaid, and all that, because I used to be one of those families that needed help. A little history. I was a young mother at the age of 17. High school, junior high. I was a junior in high school, and I was pregnant and had my baby in high school, right? That's very difficult. I went to an all-girls school, with other pregnant women, and I had a tough time. It was a hard time being single. I wasn't at home anymore, so I was on my own, and I've always done jobs to kind of get by, right? I had my second son at the age of 20, so I was always looking for ways to earn income. Then I got hired with the state of Alaska, and that was a big deal. Whenever you get hired with the state, you're like, that is a really good job if you get into the state. So I knew I had something really good there. And, but in the back of my head, I'm always thinking, how can I earn more income? I got a second job. I was a single mom until I was 35. And so my friend that I worked for at the state of Alaska, Rosalie Elliott, you probably know her, she was always had her hands in some type of network marketing company. She had this green gas thing. I don't even remember what it was. You poured in your gas, and I don't even know. And then she had lollipops that you could suck on and get your vitamins off these lollipops, lose weight. And so whenever she would approach me with something, I always was thinking, really? I mean, this is just another thing. And so she told me about these essential oils, try them, go home, all this stuff. And I never really did try them. And so she'd come back and follow up. Did you try them? Did you listen to that DVD video CD of Dr. Hill? And I'm like, no. So when she approached me with the essential oils, I just got married. I was, I'm pregnant, and I was on that journey of wanting to stay home with my son, right? Because I had 2 other kids when I was younger. I couldn't stay home. I only had 6 weeks, and I had to go back to work because I was a single mom. That's what I had to do. And so now I was married. He's working a job. So the opportunity for me to stay at home was a possibility. And so my mind was, I wanted to stay home, be with my son. And so I started going to school. I started thinking of all these different ways where I could maybe go back to school while I'm taking time at home with my son. And I started looking into nursing. So I went and took some classes. And so when she approached me with the essential oils, I was studying. I wanted to be a nurse. I had things going in my life that I was busy. And she approached me again. Can you have a class? Will you have a class? And I'm like, okay, fine. I just need to just do this. So she'll leave me alone. So I had a class, invited some people, And when I started learning about the essential oils, I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. And she had just started. This was like May 2011. And she just started in March, I believe. So she really didn't know a lot. But, um, we just read about it on our flyer and talked about it. And when you have a baby, right, when you're a new mom, you're always thinking, oh my gosh, I want to protect my baby. I don't want to put anything harmful on them, right? You start doing things natural. You start looking into natural things. At least that was what for me, right? And so when she told me about the essential oils, I was like, this is great. Peppermint to cool their body naturally. On guard if they get sick. Melaleuca, lavender. So I jumped on the wagon, the train or whatever. And I bought at that time it was the natural solutions kit, because I wanted a diffuser that was like the middle ground that had a diffuser. So I got the $500 kit. And a little bit about me is I love to make extra income. So I had gotten into Mary Kay. I had gotten into Pampered Chef. And I bought the biggest kit in Mary Kay, like the 2000 Whomper kit. And I still had the makeup stuff in my closet. I was never successful at it, but I wanted to be. I wanted network marketing. So when she approached me saying, I don't even think she approached me in the business, but in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm not going to sell this. I'll just use it for myself and my family. And she was wanting to get the competition for the trip. She was working towards that. So she sent me on LRP. But she didn't teach me how to change my account. She didn't teach me how to go into my account or how to change my order. So for the next 5 or 6 months, I kept getting the same thing. And I was so busy going to school that I didn't really take the time to learn how to do that or to ask, because I was just doing my thing. So I got busy. I kept getting the same stuff over and over. And then Betty came to town and she was going to Rosalie's house. I think it was November. And I wanted to meet her. She was basically the second class besides my own class that I attended. And when she came, I mean, look at Betty. You fall in love with her, right? She's so passionate about the oils and she's such a great teacher that I fell in love with her. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. I want to do what she's doing. And I'm like, I want to follow Betty. And so Rosalie, she was doing like a vendor event. It was Christmas, December. And she said, hey, I'm going to do this vendor event. Do you want to come? And I'm like, okay, sure, why not? And so I went. I didn't know anything about essential oils, right? Nothing. And so we're doing this vendor event and she's talking to people and I'm trying to listen. And we have the, sheet. And so I'm just talking out of that. I'm like, essential oils, this is the, I don't know anything. But we got a couple signups and she gave me one of them. And I was like, really? You're going to give me a sign up? Hardly didn't do anything. I don't know anything. And that was the beauty of doTERRA, right? The culture of sharing and helping your team out. As long as they show up and they show an interest, of course, you're going to support them. And that's what I fell in love with. The whole team approach, all the other companies, you get your kit and then you're like, they tell you to just have shows and you don't know what you're doing, right? But here we're supporting each other. We want you to be successful. We do classes together. And I love that team approach. So I got into a nursing program and I had to decide, am I going to go to nursing or am I going to try and do doTERRA? And it was a hard decision because, I wanted to do nursing, but then I didn't really agree with a lot of the stuff that I would have to implement in nursing, right? So I decided, well, I'll just give doTERRA a try. So January 1st, I decided to do doTERRA as a business. Now that's a very key step. You have to decide to do this as a business. It's not a hobby. You got to treat it as a business and you got to be committed to doing things. You can't do things part-time and then take a break and then go back. No, that's not how it works. And I've been consistent since 2012. I haven't taken breaks. Um, I share, I talk to people, and it took me 3 months. I hit silver in 3 months, and I was working for the state of Alaska part time at that time. So it was about like 8 hours because I wanted to be home with my son. So I took a part time position back with the state of Alaska at that time, and it was like a 6 or 7 months job. And so I said, if I can do this business for 6 or 7 months and replace what I'm making at the state of Alaska, then I'm going to just quit my job with the state of Alaska and then just do that. And I did that. 3 months to silver. And then that summer I hit gold. And I was making as much as I was making with the state of Alaska. So I was able to stay at home and do doTERRA full time. And it's been a dream come true. I love it. I get to do whatever I want. So that's my story. My story is the business opportunity. I didn't really have a wow experience with the essential oils. I use them for everything. My son's 13 years old. He's never really had to go to the doctor. Just one time when I first started doing the doTERRA, in that first year, he had an ear infection, and I didn't really know a lot about the essential oils. And so that's the only time he's been on antibiotics. The only time. I use the essential oils for everything. He got a burn, I use the essential oils. He got a pink eye, I use the essential oils. He's had more essential oils. He's essential oils.
Jennifer, we feel your passion for sure. And I have to tell you, when you ladies came on in Alaska, because Dr. Lori Langford was a friend of mine, or is a really good friend of mine, and she's the one that she was living up in Alaska. She shared with Rosalie, who was one of her clients in her clinical nutrition practice. Peppermint was the first oil that Rosalie had used. And then Rosalie, you were her best friend at work, and both of you just really wanted to be able to focus on your families instead of your jobs. I have never seen anything happen so fast and in such an explosion. And that's why it was like, oh my gosh, I've never been to Alaska, but I need to get up there because what's going on up there? And seriously, it's like, really, like, we all really didn't even know what we were doing. We just knew that we had found something that could change lives, and we just got out there and shared it. And we just figured it out later. And now we have all these systems, we have all the steps, we have everything. And it's so awesome what we have, but it's people like you who pioneered, doTERRA and got us to where we're at. And I am so grateful to know you as a friend, and to have you on the team, and to have you on such a big part of all these collaborations, all these collaborative things that we do. So Jennifer, thank you so much for sharing.